What's up guys, it's Coop Dizzle here and welcome back to another episode on Sanctuary where we're trying to build the most epic Minecraft base of all time. It's another beautiful day, gorgeous morning here in Sanctuary and we're just hanging out, man. I got a lot of terrain work done and you got to see some of it in that opening clip, so I want to show you the final product of a little bit of that, talk about one or two things that I've done in between episodes, and then we're going to get to work on that bad boy over there. We also have a little bit of adventuring to do this episode. We've got to go recover some of the new legendary gear that Notch spawned into the world for us. So, to start off with, well, in the time lapse you saw me working on this area over here, but I actually did quite a bit. So, one of my next goals now that we have the shape of the cliffs done, I'm not quite up to detailing out the cliffs yet. So I'm going to wait on that, take a little bit of break on that. But I really want to get some of the terrain on top of the cliffs done so that I can actually go in and start putting in the tropical forest that's going to go on top. So it's not going to stay this flat forever, by the way, but this is just sort of our starting point. So I filled in this area over here. I also, though, what you may not have seen is I did this over here. I didn't quite have the patience to go in and do the layer behind that, but I also did this. And then the beginning of that time lapse, the whole time lapse was just supposed to be this little area over here. But I had some recording issues and lost some footage, so I had to do more just to get an opening time lapse for you guys. So those areas that are filled out are looking so much more immersive now, I think. Because for all you know, like for example, if you look over here, you wouldn't know that there's not a mountain behind that. You know what I mean? Because it's just, it would be out of your view, right? So it's definitely much more immersive from these higher elevations than, for example, this over here where you can just plainly see that that's a wall and not a mountain. So that's really cool. I ran out of dirt again, so I went ahead and decided to start knocking out this river over here. Now you may not remember, but over here there used to just be like a 2 or 3 high cobblestone wall. Sorry if you can hear one of my little alarms going off there. But anyway, it used to be a little cobblestone wall here that was basically blocking off the water, and I had shaped out just a little bit of the river. Now the river goes all the way out of render distance, which is good. Oh, some phantom blocks. And you can see I was cutting through a hill. I still have a lot of work to do. For one, that's still straight. I need to, put some curves and bends. I need to edit this curve right here. So I have to do quite a bit of work to get that to look good, but it's definitely a whole lot better just as it is right now compared to just having that wall and then the water stopping completely. So that's good. Make sure I have my elytra on. Man, I'm glad I checked that. Let's gear up real quick. The last big thing that I did off camera in between episodes was working on the back skyscraper of the quad skyscraper. This part right here. So this back skyscraper of the Pierre Lumage Towers, I don't know what we're going to call this thing at the end of the day, but they're based on the design for the Pierre Lumage, which was cancelled, but it was supposed to be like a quadruple skyscraper in Venice, in Italy. But anyway, I still thought the design was really cool, so here we are. We've got one tower done, and now this back tower is up to the same height that those other 2 towers are that we did in the last episode. So that means we now have one tower complete, and the other 3 towers are now approximately halfway up, which is good. Hopefully in a few episodes we'll have those things done. But the thing is, I think I mentioned this in the last episode, that project is so enormous, doing 4 skyscrapers in one farm build, that I really, like the cliff walls, I have to take it in chunks. So that being said, we are now starting on the next major technical project and farm. So that is going to be this bad boy right over here. And what is this farm going to be? Because this is going to be our big project for the episode, and I don't know exactly how much we're going to get done. My goal is to at least get one, if not both, of the farms done, because there are going to be 2 farms that are basically supported by this platform and encased inside of a skyscraper. So the thing is about the World Trade Center over there, I'm always getting new librarians, and I'm always having to trade emeralds. I'd like to be able to trade some paper, with them as well to help unlock some of those trades. That way I can make emeralds and not always have to spend them. You know what I mean? So we need a sugarcane farm ASAP, but not just a sugarcane farm, because you also need books to trade to get the enchanted books. Now, I can trade to get bookcases, and I do, and that's how I've been getting my books, is by breaking bookcases. But wouldn't it be cooler if we had a farm where we could get the leather and the sugarcane to make the books, and that way we could get it that way, and we could also get some steak on top of that, because I'll tell you what, as much as I like eating golden carrots, and as baller as that is, I really prefer steak. So that would be my preferred food source for the game. So we're going to go ahead and get straight to work on this, guys. Let's see, do I have diorite in here? I think I do. All right, I have a little bit. Oh, I need to drop off all the glass in my inventory, so I'm going to go do that. I'm going to get to work on building out this platform, and then we'll... Come on. There we go. Anyway, so I'm going to build up that platform, then I'll come back and show you what the platform looks like, kind of, sort of finished-ish, and we'll start getting to work on the farms. Alright guys, the platform is basically done. I even forgot, notice that I forgot some details on this one too, these little vents that the water is supposed to flow into. I forgot to put those over there, so I went ahead and did that on this one as well. I went ahead and did all of the little details, including the, what are these called? Daylight sensors? That's the second episode in a row where I couldn't remember daylight sensors. But anyway, let's check this out from a distance. I've got one other little thing to show you too. Ah, man. Use 3 rockets just to get up here. That's alright. So let's check it out from the top of the observation tower here. It's exciting, dude. It's really exciting. Check it out. Like, the vision in my head of having another skyscraper here, it just really gets me pumped for this project. Now you'll also notice I started working on the roads, and I hadn't planned on doing that originally, but I just thought to myself, like, you know, right now I'm having to swim back and forth. You can see my little ladder over there, and it's like, well, do I really want to do that? I mean, I can fly, but it's kind of a waste of rockets. I thought, you know, let's just go ahead and get the road in. Like, and this one we waited a long time to get the road in. It was a pain in the butt. And then I also never did all the details on the platform. I kind of have been tidying up as I go. I don't want to do that this time. I really want to complete each stage of the project in a logical sequence. So, you know, I got the platform basically done here. Now I want to get the road in place, and then we'll start working on the farms. I just wanted to show you this part. I wasn't even going to say anything about the roads. I thought about showing up and having it done, but I figured I'd go ahead and show you how I calculate these curves. Like, for example, how I got the curves over here, how I figured that one out, how I figured out the curves for the one that leads over here to the Pierre Lumage towers. So basically, I just build in straight lines to start. So I had 2 parallel lines going straight out that way, 2 going straight out that way. Now I took one of the lines out, but I kept that one in that you can see here. Originally, this one was a straight line going all the way out to there. And originally, this height right here that these blocks were at, it was that height all the way out for both lines. And then I kind of used that to figure out, okay, where do I want this to start to dip down? So I did the elevation change first. Then once I had the elevation change, then I started doing the curve, and I used these 2 lines, you know, and thought, okay, where do I want this curve to start to break off? That ended up being right here. So I used that to calculate the radius of the circle, and what you're seeing here, this curve is basically 1/4 of a circle. And then I pretty much did the exact same thing over here. So now we've got that, and there's going to be one more elevation change. I think I'm going to do it maybe out here is where that's going to pop up, right about there. But anyway, I just wanted to show you how I calculate that stuff. I'm going to go ahead and make another cut. Ooh, there we go. Glad my wings deployed on time there. But I'm going to make another cut and come back when the roads are all done. Oh, did I make it? I made it. And then we'll actually get started on the proper farm. Ah, sunset and sanctuary, so beautiful. But anyway, check it out, man, the road's done. This actually took a bit longer than I expected it to. It took 5 or 6 hours, I want to say. But anyway, I guess that's fine. It's a main chunk of road. It's a pretty long chunk of road. But we've got everything. The whole thing is done. Now, the only thing that I'm kind of don't like is right here where it curves. I like this curve right here, and I feel like this curve comes out a little bit too far. It kind of gets a little bit too wide right here. But I've found that it's really difficult to get sort of parallel curves. Can you have parallel curves? You can have parallel lines, but I don't know if you can have parallel curves. But hopefully you know what I mean. Matching curves where, you know, especially with the blocks, like with this game being blocky, right? It's really difficult. So I looked around and I realized that pretty much all the roads are like that. You know, this is like 3 wide, but when you get here, it gets kind of wide-ish. And then you get here, it gets kind of skinny. It gets wide right here. It gets a little wider here, back to the regular width. So I think that's just a normal problem that we're going to have with the roads. Let's see. Yeah, let's check this out from a little bit closer up. Whoosh. Okay. So it's looking good. The pillars aren't quite evenly spaced out, but they're really close. Like these first pillars over here, I even counted the blocks. These two are 22 blocks apart, and then these two, there's one right about there, they're 21 blocks apart. So that's really close, and I could probably kind of count here. These two look like they're further apart, but I think that might just partially be because of the curve. I think that's kind of an optical illusion, and even if they were too close together, then, I mean, I couldn't push it any further in that way. I could push this one in a little further into here, but I want this to look supported as well. So, I don't know. It's always, you know, I really just eyeball how far apart these things are, and it's not too big of a deal because for the most part, you're not going to notice, right? You just kind of walk around and you see them dotted around here and there, so I don't think it has to be perfectly spaced apart. Same thing with these street lights. Like, you just have to... I mean, there's sort of a method to it. I kind of count. Like, from here, it's going to be 4 to 5 seconds. So if I go here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's a good spot right there. And you can go up to 5. So they're roughly equally spaced apart, but not perfectly evenly spaced apart. These two, in particular, are really close together, like 3 seconds apart. But anyway, that kind of gives you an idea of how I tackle this thing. Hopefully that gives you a good idea. Between showing you how the roads are planned out and sort of how I add in these details and things like that. Whoa, I have not lit up the platform yet, and I don't want to go mess with those guys just yet. But anyway, so the next step is going to be to start the farms. Now, part of me wants to start the storage area first and get an idea of how that's going to be laid out, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to leave myself about 15 blocks at the bottom to design my storage area. That's more than enough vertical space to do it. And I think what's going to be on top of that is going to be the cow farm, and then on top of the cow farm is going to be the sugarcane farm. So I think I'm going to start the cow farm next. Yeah, it's going to involve a little bit of planning, and I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to tackle that one, but I have a pretty good idea. Yeah. So anyway, let me kind of get started on it. I can tell you the design I'm going to use is a design that I used a long time ago, all the way back in Rhapsody. It's a design by Azumavoid for an AFK Cow Farm. And once I kind of get that design in place, I'll show it to you and show you how it works. It's really, really cool. And of all the designs, even the newer ones I've checked out, it's by far my favorite one. So I am going to go get some materials ready, fam, and then I will get that farm built up, and I'll come show it to you. Alright, I just finished up building the cow farm. I don't have any cows in here just yet, and it's going to be a little bit hard to see, I think, now that I've got this thing all encapsulated, but this is a design by Azumavoid that he put out 2 or 3 years ago. It's his mass cow breeder system, mass cow AFK, I don't know, I'm going to link it in the description. So don't worry about typing it in the search results here. Whoa, I gotta be careful, I don't have glass in here yet. This is where I'm gonna be putting the cows in. And so let me see if I can explain kind of how this works. So basically you've got this water stream, the cows are gonna be going in a big circle all the way around. And then basically you flick this on, you'll hear the clicking going on, that's for this dropper here. And basically you have this cycle, it's a little bit hard to see, but there's a dropper facing up into this dropper, which is going to be, I guess, dropping wheat into my inventory, which I can just hold right click down as the cows pass by here in that water stream, and I'll be breeding them up that way. So any wheat that doesn't get used will fall back into this hopper, which will go back into this cycle here. Let me turn that off. Now, if we go down here, basically the baby cows are going to fall down and into this area right here. Is it there or is it here? I think it's over here. This is where I can kind of aim and throw potions if I want to, like potions of harming, I think, with a looting sword, so I don't have to go down there and kill them all with my sword, and then you can drop down here and into here and collect all the drops right here. Now I'm going to have a hopper coming out of this bottom chest here, and that hopper is going to feed down into our storage system down below. But this should leave room for just over 100 baby cows to grow up without suffocating. And so, yeah, you used to, before the mob cap, you could get like hundreds of cows in here all at once, which was really cool. But I think having just over 100 will still produce quite a bit of leather and quite a bit of steak. We'll just have to, we won't be able to AFK for as long. I thought about trying to widen up this design just a little bit, maybe make this that collection area a 3x3 and make all of this larger to reflect that. But I was a little bit worried about how the water flow system, whether or not I'd be able to get that to line up correctly so that they could all, you know, get around the circle and everything. So I think this is going to work. The next thing I need to do is I need to get into the nether and I have some cows stored in that area and get them over here. I'm going to have to build portals and do all that stuff. So I'll check back in just a little bit. Some of you have maybe never seen this before, I'm not sure, but this is my ghetto nether hub. And just to give you an idea, we've been on this world for almost 2 years. Well, more than that, actually. We've been on this project in Sanctuary for almost 2 years. So, 2 years ago, oh no, wrong one. Those are sheep, okay. But a couple of years ago, there they are, I herded a whole bunch of animals over here in anticipation of one day building up some farms. So anyway, these guys have been waiting here for a long time, a really long time. I'm gonna start breeding these up. I'm gonna breed them up like it's my full-time job, and then we're gonna get them into the cow farm. The cows are all in place and we're ready to give this thing a test run, but I'm going to make one little change to Asuma's design that I'm really interested to see how it's going to work out. So you can see I've got hoppers up here, and in his design you put all of your drops into chests that are located up there. I went ahead and took those chests out, replaced them with hoppers in the floor, because in his design at the time the entity cramming rule wasn't really a thing, so mobs didn't suffocate if you had them grouped hundreds into a block. Now they do. And so I'm hoping with the number of cows that I have in here that this won't be too many, considering I can only have them in there for, or I guess I can only breed them once every, 5 minutes? I'm hoping to produce enough cows so that with that rate of breeding, they won't suffocate when they drop into the bottom area before they can grow up. And then the next idea that I'm hoping will work out here, let me drop down, is I want to, let's see, let me take this ladder out, and then I put some signs down here, and we're going to put a lava blade, or what we like to call a lava blade here. Let's see how is that going to spread and do its thing? It is. Okay, so what I'm hoping will happen is that the cows will drop down there, although all of the cows might die. Shoot, I didn't think about that. All of the cows might die just falling through the lava blade, but I'm hoping the baby cows will not completely burn up and that they'll survive, and that when they grow up, that's when they'll die. Well, I mean, I guess we have to experiment. If we need to, well, I don't know if there would be a way to put in a dispenser to dispense the lava every so often, but that's what we're hoping for. So hopefully, I'll sit here, I'll breed the cows up, the babies will fall down, they won't suffocate, but then they'll grow up and die in the fire, and then we'll get their drops that way. If that works, then this farm is going to be AFKable overnight, which is the hope. So I'm going to let me make sure I'm all fed up, that my hunger bar is full here. Let's turn this on, close the door, and now we're getting wheat dispensed in here. And we're just going to sit here, and I'm actually going to change my controls a little bit, and we're going to go AFK for about an hour or so. I kind of need a break. I've been playing at this point all day and all last night, trying to get as much done as possible for this episode. But I'm going to take a little bit of a break, and we're going to do this as a test and see how it goes. Well, so much for that break. I did just confirm all the baby cows die whenever they try to go through this lava blade. After I did all of that breeding, I came down here, removed the lava bucket, and that's exactly what was happening. So in order to make this work, I'm going to have to find or create a system where the lava buckets get dispensed, or the lava blade gets dispensed. Somehow, shoot, the problem is, though, I don't know how I'm going to do that with the water flowing right here, because the dispenser would have to go on this second block. I don't really know if there's a way to do that or not. I don't know. I'm going to do some research. I'm going to see if I can come up with an idea to make this work. And then if I figure something out, I'll be back. You know what, guys? I am such a derp. I was all trying to figure out, I was about to go into a testing world and I couldn't find anything on YouTube that was exactly what I wanted. I was about to go and try and find how to make a lava blade and all that stuff, and you know what? I realized I don't need any of that specifically because of the mob cramming rule. So we could have even had way more adult cows in the, well, I don't know about that. Hopefully, so now the big test is, will the cows have enough time to grow up before the chamber gets too full of cows that they start suffocating? So as long as they don't suffocate before they grow up, everything's going to be fine, because without the lava blade, they're just going to suffocate each other in there. That sounds so cruel. But they'll all bunch up in here. Let me just go ahead and go down here. So basically the cows are going to fall out of here. We've got this glass pane here, and I didn't explain this very well earlier, but the baby cows are small enough that they're going to fit through this gap, fall into this water, and then fall down into here. And basically, as long as they can grow up before they start getting suffocated, then we're going to get those drops. And that means that this is already a farm where we can AFK overnight, as long as that's the case. And if it's not the case, that means I need to go in and kill some of those cedar cows, I think is what we would call them. So let's fill up our inventory here like so. Good, so the only thing we have is this wheat. Then we're going to turn this on. And now I'm actually going to start properly breeding this up. Alright, it's been an hour. Let's see how we're doing. We still have about a little over 4 stacks of wheat left. That's good to know. So we could probably AFK here for almost 2 hours before we had to refill. I'm wondering if there's something I can do, like put a hopper here and a chest here. Although I wonder with that repeater, I don't know. I'm not sure if that would cause problems or not. But anyway, let's see if we manage to get any loot at all from this thing. Actually, let's sleep first real quick. I don't really feel like getting anything blown up by a creeper right now. But yeah, let's head over here and let's see and hope nothing. I think I put this in here before that all started, right? Oh, no. That's totally from the farm. Yeah, all the stuff I got before is in here. Sweet! So after an hour, we got 2.5 stacks of meat, and or beef, I should be specific, and a little over a stack of leather. That is awesome, guys. So for every trip we make to get wheat, we're going to get probably about 5 stacks of beef and a little over about 2.5 stacks of leather. So if I can find a way to increase the supply up there of our wheat substantially, then I may be able to AFK at this thing overnight and get absolutely tons of stuff. So that's fantastic news. I think I might make a couple of little tweaks. They may not be great aesthetically, but it'll allow us to run the farm for longer. And after I do that, I'm going to start getting my stuff together to make a sugarcane farm. Now the sugarcane farm is going to go on top of this. I want it to be high enough up that we can turn this, so eventually this is going to be turned into a room, okay? Oh, you know what? The other thing too is we don't need these trapdoors anymore, because there's really no reason for us to go down there, is there? So anyway, we're going to eventually design this up. It won't look exactly like this, but we'll turn this into a room. Probably in the next episode, we'll do an interior design. So when I make the sugarcane farm, I want to make sure that I'm high enough off of the ground that I can have some room to do a little bit of a ceiling design and stuff like that. And basically, the way that all this is going to work at the end is that the sugarcane is going to fall down and go through a hopper chain back here somewhere, and probably go down into this area right here. The storage for that will be down here. And then the hopper chain down there is going to get moved substantially so that it goes into a storage system over there. So we'll have 3 floors basically to this farm. Well, really only 2 floors. The sugarcane farm will be totally automatic. We won't ever go up to the sugarcane farm. So we'll have the chest storage room, and we'll have this as a room where we can come in and AFK. It's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be really cool. Well, unfortunately I recorded a bit too much. We have too much stuff for one episode, so this is going to be split into a 2-part episode. I hope that you enjoyed this though. We got a lot done. We worked on the roads, we got a cow farm built, we got a new platform, and cool things are underway. You can also tell I'm now in 1.12 by the lack of beautiful sky and this kind of somewhat annoying thing in the top right of my screen here, but maybe I'll get rid of some of that stuff before the next episode. Anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you did enjoy it, please make sure and hit the like button. Feel free to share the video, spread a good word about the channel and the series, and subscribe if you're not already. Join the Coop Dizzle family. And until next time, may you be happy, may you be well, and take care. I'll see you later.
Epic build time.